to another video for OnShape construction. In this video, I will show you how to make this part, which is relatively simple, and also how to assign the part a material, and how to view mass properties in OnShape. The part in question belongs to an activity that we did in class today that used a grid spacing of 0.25 inches per grid. I began my sketch on the front plane by drawing a rough L shape without worrying about the dimensions that I was setting. It's good practice to put your sketch on the origin. The dimension for the bottom line was 1.75 inches, and for this top line was 1.25. These lines here were both 0.5 inches Once I have this L, I can hit the check mark. Now I can extrude this object to the depth that I need. If I go back to my previous part studio, I see that my extrude depth was 1.25 inches. I now have the basic in order to create this. What I'm going to do is use a method called subtractive modeling to cut away this top part and this bottom notch here. I'll start with the top. I will sketch on this front plane a corner rectangle. Notice how the top line of this shape is highlighted. That means that this rectangle will be bound to that top edge. The dimension of the long side was 0.75 inches, and the short side was 0.25. I also need to center this rectangle onto the part. To do this, I will first click on this line, then click on the line that I want to put the dimension towards, and make that 0.25. Now I can hit extrude, but instead of adding, I want to remove that section. Once I hit remove, I can hit check, and that section has gone away. Finally, I can begin a new sketch, this time on this facet of the part. View normal to sketch plane. And again, use the corner rectangle tool to draw a thin rectangle approximately centered on the part. The dimensions for this rectangle are as follows. For the long side, I will make that 0.75. For the short side, I will make that 0.25. To get this centered into this part, I will click, drag, highlight this side, click, and make that 0.5 inches. I can now hit extrude and remove. Now that I have the part created, I can assign it a material. If I click into my parts drop-down list here, if I right-click on part 1, I see this selection for assign material. When I click on that, I should be defaulted into library, OnShape material library, and I see that right now it has no material selected. OnShape's material library has a lot of different loaded materials that you can use to simulate how much your part might weigh, or look at the modulus of elasticity, or the density. And for this, we're going to use aluminum. There are many different grades of aluminum that we can use, but for ours, let's just stick with regular old raw aluminum, which is this one right here. Once I hit check, nothing apparently happens. But if I use the bottom right of the screen and click on my part, I can now get the mass, the volume, and the surface area of the part. These will be useful in completing the assignment, geometric properties of solids. Thank you, and I hope this video helps.